Welcome everybody to another episode of Katawa Shoujo, and we had just got through a very interesting evening with Lilly where we were trying to get it on, except, the heart flutter kind of acted up during the middle of it, so it seems that Hisao cannot take initiative in matters of the bedroom, which is unfortunate. But, them's the breaks, and we'll see how their relationship, I guess, goes on after this particular, I guess you could say, backstep. So, context. Oh yeah, there was a loud bang at the beginning of this. The loud clatter of books falling into the return slot abruptly breaks the grip of silence over the school library. It's become a habit for me to come to the library at least once a week. Not only does the reading itself keep me busy, but discussing books with Hanako and Lilly also does. Obviously startled, as usual, Yuko suddenly twists towards the direction of the noise. I'd have thought her used to people dropping books by now, since she does work here. Oh, hello, Hisao, back again. It takes me a moment to respond, my mind still distracted by the familiar melody of Lily's humming that's hardly left my ears in the several days it's been since I fell asleep to it. Oh yeah, just returned some books I borrowed. She casts her eyes downwards, presumably to the bin the books dropped into. You're a very heavy reader, aren't you? Yeah, it's become a bit of a routine now. Passes the time, at least. I wish I had free time to pass. Why, no, it's you working two jobs, either here at the library or at the Shanghai, the tea place. I mean, you got no time for yourself, especially if you're studying on the side. That's crazy. I've actually done that once, actually, where I had to work at Walmart, and I work at Starbucks. Starbucks in the morning, Walmart in the evening for night shift, and in between there was my college schedule. And I had about 2 hours of sleep. 2 hours of sleep every night for like a duration of like maybe a month. Oh, gosh, it was awful. It took a toll on me, and I eventually had to quit one of the two jobs. I couldn't take it. It was very draining. From small talk to depression in less than 5 seconds. I think it's a new record for her. She seems a bit down in general today, even compared to normal. Considering she has to work two jobs just to support herself, I could see how that would take a toll on her lifestyle. Come to think of it, the pay for her job here can't all be that bad. The idea of staff in such a prestigious private school going hungry strikes me as counterintuitive. Working two jobs must take a lot of time. I'd probably never manage it. You're lucky being a student. Do you think you'll be able to go to university? If she's asking, then I guess that's the expected result of having this kind of education. Private schools like this don't exactly come cheap. I guess. I have the money, I think. I've got plans which require going to one, and my grades are good enough. It's more of a matter of how I'll pay to do so. University costs so much that I'm having to work two jobs to afford to enter it. Paying for daily expenses too makes it a lot harder. If you're reading this much, though, that means you're doing well in school, right? That isn't necessarily true, Yuko. Interesting logical jump. Not an altogether wrong one, though. I suppose so. I didn't find any of the exams very hard, aside from maybe one or two. Do you mind if I ask what studies you're pursuing in university? Yuko appears to genuinely brighten at the question. Anthropology! To be specific, I'm specializing in the history of classical-era Athenian civilization and democracy. That's very specific. She really seems to know her stuff. Such enthusiasm is to be admired. It's nice to see her genuinely excited about something. I guess even somebody like Yuko can be happy if she has a visible road ahead of her. That's good to hear. Both of us jump at the sudden interruption coming from my pocket. Thought I had the sound turned off. What was with this stupid thing? Apologizing profusely and quickly shuffling into the hallway as I fumble with the cover of my mobile phone, I glance at the screen. Weird. It's a mobile number I don't recognize. Considering I can count the number of people with my number on one hand, I briefly wonder whether it's some telemarketer that lucked out. Hello, Hisao Nakai speaking. Geez, pick up faster next time. Anyway, guess who? It only takes me a second to recognize the distinctly deep, brusque voice. Hey, Misha, didn't expect you to call me, and I don't even remember giving you my number. Huh? You actually think I sound like her? Oh, wait, never mind, it's Akira. Disregard. I knew I didn't remember giving Misha my number. Not at all, Akira. I don't remember giving you my number, though, so I thought I'd mess with you. Oh, that? No, I got Lilly to give it to me. Not hard. She positively brims with pride at that statement. She's trying to get me caught up in her pace, I know it. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised that the two would share my number, though, given how close they are. So what's up? You free right now? I guess. Why? Could you meet me in that park in town? I just want to talk to you about some stuff. Is that an invitation to a date? Because, you know, I'm kind of already taken with your sister, so it's kind of awkward. What? Of course not! She sounds suddenly crestfallen, her previous teasing nature having instantaneously left. It seems strange for her. Anyways, I don't see why not. When do you want to meet? Kind of now-ish. Sounds serious. Wait, right now? But it's... The dead silence suddenly coming from the phone announces the fact that she has unceremoniously hung up. She didn't give me much of a choice, did she? For a long time I just stand there staring at the call ended message on the screen while replaying the conversation in my head. What the heck, Akira? Throwing a glance up and down the street, I cross the road and step into the park. I've learned to pace myself on such walks, mostly because Lilly's slower speed during our forays into town means I have to consciously slow myself down. That aside, I hope Akira didn't expect me to be immediately prompt. Oh, that's a rare side to her. Takes only a couple seconds to spot her, waiting on a bench with a can of beer in her hand. How apt. The look she gives me as I walk up lacks any hint of acknowledgement or greeting. What's with that look? I needn't have come, you know. I knew you would. You're that kind of person after all. Ooh, burns so much. I lower my brow at her remark as she disposes of the can, emptied by the time I arrived. A metallic clatter rings out. Akira takes a seat on the old wooden bench and I follow her lead. She takes another can of beer from beside her and opens it before speaking, taking a large gulp. She seems to really like that stuff. I don't really like beer myself. I'm more of a liquor and wine person. I suppose I don't need to ask what this is about, or rather, who it's about. I heard from Lilly that you asked about our family. They share more than phone numbers, that's for sure. I'd probably be very worried right now if it weren't for the total lack of malice in her voice. Rather, her tone sounds almost wistful. Idle curiosity, mostly. I have to admit, I never guessed you two were half Scottish. She gives a wry chuckle of amusement. I've heard that before, trust me. The small smile fades from her face, her eyes looking ahead distantly. Aside from the occasional elderly couple talking as they slowly walk the meandering paths, and the odd aging car, it's pleasantly quiet. She didn't tell you everything, though, did she? It was pretty brief. Your parents live in Scotland, she hasn't met them since she was 12, and she wants to meet them again. It's always surprised me how devoted she is to our parents, for all the good they did us. She's probably bitter for having the parents leave her and have her basically be the sole parent figure, as it were, for Lilly. So the fact that she had to play parent for both of them at the same time, I can understand why Akira is more mad at their parents than Lilly is, because Lilly never felt the brunt of that responsibility. So this is totally in tune with how Akira's feeling. I totally understand where she's coming from. The way she sounds is almost derisive. I hope I said that right. She gives a small sigh, as if to quickly brush the feelings away. Why do you think they left, Hisao? Why do I think they left? Well, Lilly told me it was because of work. I guess a pretty decently paying job was involved as well, given the way your parents seem to live. So Lilly went to a private school, and that's why she carries herself with the airs and graces of the upper class. Yeah, since the business in Iverness boomed, our father decided to move directly to the same city as its headquarters. That's just the conclusion I thought you'd come to, though. You're too good-natured. You don't think they left for their career? I'm sitting here moaning to you about it. What do you think? Yamaku Academy. I've always felt that place was kind of creepy. Like it was an isolated highway for those proper society didn't want to see nor hear. They probably just rue the fact that Lilly wasn't old enough to be shoved there by the time they left. A long silence follows her abrupt and very harsh criticism of her own parents and Yamaku. Lilly's blindness is hardly something that could be simply ignored for a high-class family attempting to keep up appearances, much less so when her lucrative offer is on the table. Eventually, Akira gives a derisive snort, her feelings coming to a head. Moving to secure a financial future with his new job posting. Even at the time, I hardly believed it. Not wanting to simply be an avenue for her venting, I gently try to steer the discussion. And it's kind of dangerous right there. You better let her steer that discussion herself there, Hisao. So you stay in Japan with Lily, then? Either I stayed with her or she went to live with an ailing grandmother and grandfather. What about Shizuen's family? If you're cousins, then... Our fathers hate each other. I'd have been more than happy to tell them to go screw themselves and live with them anyway, but Lily wouldn't have wanted that. I've also had an offer for a job by then, so we did our best to keep our parents' house in proper shape and try to continue our lives as if they'd never left. So you just lived by yourselves? Basically. Lily had school and I had my job, so we weren't exactly languishing. With her schooling, her study, and having to do chores while I worked, though, I can't help feeling like I failed her. In the end, I tried to be there for her and screwed it up. Expecting a 19-year-old to be a mother for a blind child is ridiculous. So Lily and Akira lived alone after their parents moved, with Lily largely taking care of herself. I guess that explains her apparent independence compared to many in Yamaku. I may have lived much of my time since my parents both worked, but lived alone much of my time since my parents worked, but that's just something else entirely. Sorry for making you listen to my moaning, Hisao. I don't mind at all, but do you mind if I ask you why you're telling me this? You always were curious. Context, I suppose. Life isn't a fairy tale, Hisao. Some people have to learn that the hard way. She takes a long drink from the can in her hand, her face becoming more depressed than distant. I broke up with my boyfriend a few days ago. After I leave, we're not going to be able to see each other again. But that's how life is. You can't just set your life up and expect it to stay that way forever. Sometimes stuff happens that you have to roll with, even if it means hurting yourself or others. She takes a long breath before looking up at the bright orange sky. Dang, if I was smoked, I could take a nice long drag right about now and look kinda cool. I want to respond to help her in whatever I can, but I feel utterly useless. This kind of situation is one I've never been in, and I simply just don't have the experience to say anything meaningful to comfort her. Akira looks over and evidently picks up on this, much to my embarrassment. I must look pretty pathetic right now, whining about this to someone I barely know. Hardly. I'm pretty much an expert on looking pathetic. She gives a chuckle, the act feeling like a personal victory for me. You're a good kid, Hisao. When I said that I approved of you being with my sister, I wasn't joking or just being nice. She picks herself up off the seat with a grunt, one that seems ill-fitting given her age, and throws the now empty can into the bin after one last swig. It's just unfortunate that doesn't really count for much in this world. When I said that I was leaving for Scotland, I was doing it because a good position opened up in our company's headquarters. When our folks told me that when we were I can't read tonight, apparently. When our folks told me that when we were at their place, though, they also gave Lilly a summons to rejoin them in Inverness. So this is what I had a hunch this was what was happening. That Lilly was given an option, or possibly an ultimatum, to go with Akira to go visit their parents. So this is why she's becoming more and more distant, yet still trying to maintain and latch on to as much closeness with Hisao as possible. She's trying to make it last. She's trying to make these memories with Hisao the best ever before she has to leave. Because I'm not sure if she feels like she has a choice, or that she has a future here with Hisao. And I think that's the biggest hurdle for Lily right now to work out, is if she has a future here with Hisao. And right now, I think she's not thinking that. I think she thinks, I have to go because there's nothing for me here at Yamaku. Yeah, she has Hisao, but, who's to say that's going to be a lasting, permanent relationship? So she's taking the stability and the certainty of this position with Akira and living with her parents over the uncertainty of Hisao right now. And that's going to be really detrimental for both of them. I wonder if I can influence it in some way. No way. Her evasiveness when asked about her future, that awkwardness that had steadily grown between us, that uncharacteristic outburst of anger, all of them suddenly fit into place. The same family that she reminisced about after Hanako's birthday party, the same family that left her and Akira to themselves after taking flight to greener pastures. Now I feel stupid for never cornering Lily on what was bugging her. I never even considered if something had happened during her trip to her family's home at Inverness. And now a sense of unease grows in my chest. Her family has summoned her to join them in Scotland, all the way on the other side of the earth. That's right. Hisao didn't even bother asking how her trip was, other than was it nice or good. Didn't ask for details, nothing. It's like, is Hisao even caring about what's happening in her life? Has she accepted? Lily hasn't told me where she plans to accept, and it seems she hasn't told you either. That's why I called you down here to talk, Hisao. Context, huh? I sit back, my feelings of worry and frustration no doubt written all over my face. I know, because in essence, basically, Lily is lying to us by omission of pertinent information that we could really use to help resolve this and talk it through as a couple, as a couple. And she just chose not to reveal that to us for whatever reason. Lily's a strong person, Hisao, but she's not infallible. I guess it's my job to worry about her, being her older sister, but I think that you deserve to know. I understand. You okay? You sound depressed. Probably about as depressed as you, Akira. No, I'm just thinking. That's good. Thinking is good. Being rash won't get you anywhere. She looks at her watch, barely moving her wrist. I've got to go. Will you be okay? I'll be fine, don't worry. I'll have to talk to Lily about it and get everything sorted out. She gives a smile, but it doesn't feel all the genuine or sincere. Really, both of us are dancing around the fact that Lily's on the precipice of the biggest decision of her life and is trying to take the entire burden on herself. Why? That's the question now, is why is she doing this all by herself? Why is she not involving Hisao? The one person who apparently she cares more than anyone else at this point. And part of that burden is the matter of our relationship. By the time I look up, Akira's already walking off with her hand held up. For the first time in a long while, I finally have an answer to something. Perhaps not even that, but at least I now have the right question to ask. Will you leave or stay? Wow. So now I see the crux of the matter here in this particular episode is trying to convince Lily to leave or to stay. This is going to make or break this entire, path in this game. The first part was, moving on ahead and forming a new life with Lily. The present was enjoying the time with Lily, and now it seems like the future is there going to be a permanent relationship with Lily? Can we save this? Can we salvage this and move on towards the future, either in Iverness by herself or here in Yamaku with Hisao? Okay, so this is all coming full circle now. We're going to see how Hisao intends to bring this up to Lily and how she's going to respond. So this next episode, I imagine, is going to get pretty heavy. So excited. Drama. See y'all later.